Two goals in the last 6 minutes. It's getting even more dramatic with every passing day as Holland beat off the spirited Mexicans to enter the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Yes, the Costa Ricans are living a dream this time in the World Cup. 31st out of 32 teams in 2006 World Cup. They are now into the quarterfinals as the only team alive in the tournament from the group of death. It's time for the Les Bleus to take on the powerful challenge of the Super Eagles. France versus Nigeria, first up tonight. And German coach Joachim Löw faces a problem of plenty. Schweinsteiger or Khedira as he decides his team in this fantastic game which has been set up in the backdrop of history versus Algeria tonight. Hello and welcome to the beautiful game here on CNN IBN. Yes, as they would say, it was a touch of class literally at the end from the Dutch Masters that literally put them through to the quarterfinals after a very spirited challenge from Mexico. And joining us for more on that show right away, Karim Bensharifa and Novi Kapadia, two of Indian football's premier voices. But before we get to Karim and Novi and talk about these games, let's take you through all the action last night. Holland putting off a great escape. 2 goals virtually in the last 6 or 7 minutes, taking them past a Mexican side who thoroughly deserved to go through. Now the Dutch seemed put off by the heat in Fortaleza and looked listless all through the first half. An injury to Nigel de Jong saw a tactical change which didn't help either. Mexico started on the front foot and it stayed that way as wave after wave of green attacks kept Silesen and the Dutch back four busy. The best Dutch chance fell to Van Persie, but his pass to Robben was shot. 0-0 at halftime, but only one team could be happy. And the Mexicans finally had the goal to show for their dominance with Giovanni Dos Santos unleashing a powerful left-footed shot from outside the box just 3 minutes into the start. And that was it. After that, they fought back hard. The Dutch fought back hard and changed their tactics a little bit. And was only left for a fantastic shot from Wesley Sneijder, the man who's been missing in action so far in the World Cup. Sneijder, the man to beat Ochoa, the fantastic Mexican goalkeeper, to make it 1-1. And then in added time, Arjen Robben was fouled in the box and Huntelaar smashed it in for the win.
The first goal was just awesome. It was like, oh, the last 10 minutes and we made a goal, so we were so happy. I was jumping, I was so nervous already the whole game, but we made it the 1-1, so we were happy with the 1-1, but then the penalty came, so we were more glad with that, the last seconds. So.
I'm proud that the best team of the World Cup is leaving with their heads held high. It was just bad luck. Holland was unforgiving and then the referee invented a penalty. It seems that FIFA always wants the same teams in the final.
All right, and the Mexicans are already crying foul about Arjen Robben, who in fact has actually admitted to diving and said sorry, but more on that later. But before that, the match stats. Holland enjoying 55% ball possession compared to Mexico's of 45%. 14 shots on goal with 8 on target, 10 corners. No yellow cards for the Dutch or red cards. It was a little bit of a physical encounter, but what it seemed that in the end, it was the brilliance simply of Arjen Robben and a couple of others which helped them get over the line. Novi Kapadia, first to you, 2 goals in the last 6 minutes. It's getting very, very dramatic these days in the World Cup and sort of an anticlimax. We were talking about the fact that this was the strongest attack versus the strongest defense, yet for most of the game, it looked like the strongest attack was Mexico, and the Dutch were having a tough time in handling that attack.
Yes, Mexico were very exhilarating in attack, especially till Giovanni Dos Santos was there. They played very creatively and in fact had the Dutch backpedaling. The Dutch seemed to have to remold their side, reshape their side once Daley Blind came in midfield in place of Nigel de Jong. And they were just not clicking, but afterwards when that desperation came into the Dutch and they started playing the long ball effectively. Right. And you know, even bypassing the midfield. Right. And once they took off Giovanni Dos Santos and then the Dutch applied the pressure. Right. And finally, I mean, that non-stop pressure did pay off. Right. They kept their cool in those moments. Right. Wesley Sneijder, who's not done anything great in the previous 2 matches, had a good match. And you know what he's really good at, excellent
Well,
technique
he
in the
certainly
box.
beat the best goalkeeper in this tournament.
Yes, and a calm head. And same with Huntala.
Same-
Despite all the hullabaloo around the penalty,
Right.
he kept a very calm head, good penalty.
Right, whatever touches he took actually were worth their weight in gold. Karim, Arjen Robben, how much can we even talk about him? He virtually dragged the Dutch back into the World Cup. It looked like they were going out. But Robben made sure he meant business. He would not give up till the end. Of course, he was the man who created that goal with the penalty.
Yeah, throughout the tournament and throughout the game yesterday, though when Mexico looked having the upper hand of the game, Robben was still the main player, was very consistent on his performance. You could feel that if anything will happen in the attacking side of Holland, it will be through Robben, with his dribbling, with his speed, with his work rate. So he took a lot of responsibility. He's very different than 4 years ago. It seems that he's mature, and the fact that he's the vice captain, whenever Van Persie is not there, he have that armband,
Right.
which I think motivate him. But overall, as we said, definitely the last 30 minutes, that's where the Dutch took full control of the match, and the statistics showed that they had more than 10 corners, was the fact that Mexico took off one striker and thought they can defend
Right.
the one goal lead, which was, in my opinion, a big mistake.
Right.
Coming back to Huntelaar, especially with his winning goal, he missed 4 penalties out of the last 5
Last
that
five
he
he's
took,
taken.
and still had the guts to take that penalty and to score in a very crucial moment.
Right. We'll obviously talk more about the tactical masterpiece, which the British media, I'm surprised, is talking about Van Gaal, but with Karim. But Novi, Mexico failing yet again to break down a barrier which has been right in staring in their faces for the last 28 years. It'll be 32 years. They'll again get a chance maybe in the next World Cup. What's going wrong with this team? They were very good, but it seemed that they took their foot off the pedal just when it mattered.
Yes, it's become a bit of a jinx, but also a bit of misfortune. They tend to play some of the tournament favourites, whether it's Argentina, Brazil, or the Netherlands in this match. And yeah, they did have a glorious chance, but somehow tactically got it wrong and had to pay the penalty. And Robben, whatever the critics say, I mean, it was a deserving penalty, and he really, had the defence a bit trembling in the knees by his
Right.
pace and change of pace.
Right, let's get to Karim's corner. Karim, the fact is that obviously both teams started with a 3-man defense, but the Dutch, the moment they went back, they got 4 men back. And also the fact that they got Memphis Depay on the wings, giving them more width, getting Dirk Kuyt to switch flanks, and also Robben on the right. How did that sort of work out for them in this in the end game?
The switch, the most important thing is Mexico on a 3-5-2. They started the game 3-5-2, so they had full. They had only Salcido and especially Guardado in more attacking position.
Right.
So they was like this. The Dutch was on more on a sort of a diamond with
Right.
the Sneijder, Robben, and Van Persie. So as long as it was like this, the Mexicans was in control of the game. But the key moment of the game is when Mexico decided to change, when there was up 1-0, and they took Dos Santos and they put an extra midfielders,
Right.
which they became almost like a 5-4-1, and start defending deep. The response of so they had only one when there was 2. This back 4 was busy with the 2 strikers and with the advance of Guardado.
Right.
But when they did that change, Van Gaal responded in the right way by putting fresh players up
Right.
front.
Yeah.
Even there was Robben, Van Persie, and Memphis, and later on Huntelaar came
Huntelaar,
here. Van Persie had a big role to play going forward, and sometimes they kept only Blind. Dirk Kuyt became on an advanced position here, so they could afford to push the wings, because here they was quite safe
Right.
by having 2 versus 1, sometimes 3 versus 1.
Right.
And here, when you have, especially with key players like Robben and fast like Memphis,
Right.
they did create a lot of trouble for Mexico, and
Right.
Mexico could not afford anymore to get out of this defensive position, especially with these players, because especially Dirk Kuyt and from the left side as well, they pushed them to stay on their camp, and that's why the pressure was applied and they got a lot of corners and a lot of free kicks.
Fantastic. But Karim, when they started, if we can go back to that, both teams with a three-man defense. This is not a formation which many teams play in this tournament. We've seen Mexico, the Dutch, and maybe Costa Rica to a certain extent. But when it's a three-man defense, both teams are employing, it becomes sort of a midfield battle, and that's somewhat which initially looked the Dutch were not getting any headway.
Yeah, absolutely. Initially, they could not. The midfield was very packed, and the most important thing on the 3-5-2, when it's 5-3-2 like this, it is defending. It is defensive formation. But the most important is these wingers backs. They have to, when Mexico have the ball, they have to push up. And of course, it became a battle in the midfield, which that's why the Dutch start playing a little bit direct game and playing long ball to overcome this crowded area, which was very much, there was hardly any space to operate in.
That's what they did, and actually replacing Santos worked out well in favor of the Dutch. But Novi, the main point which one seems to see from the way this game was played, that whenever they were confronted with such a problem, yes, they changed their formation, they switched their tactics a little bit, but it was all about delivering the ball to Robben. That seemed to be the most important thing, and that's what the Dutch did well, and it paid off well in the end.
Yes, delivering the ball, and also Robben delivered. I mean, as Karim has said, he's become much more mature now. He's using his pace, those blinding runs, that change of direction. I mean, he had Rafael Marquez, beaten several times. I mean, that penalty was not the only time that he went past him.
Right.
He went past him earlier, took a shot at goal. Ochoa is, I think, the one Mexican who still justified his reputation.
Right.
Had an outstanding match.
Right.
I'm sure Arsene Wenger and several other Premiership managers are looking at him. It is a major surprise why his French club let him go in April. I mean, a really world-class goalkeeper, still arguably the best goalkeeper in the tournament. But when the three Dutchmen, those flying Dutchmen, when Memphis Depay comes in and they go with three attackers, they seem a much more potent unit.
Right.
And it's credit to Louis van Gaal. He has so many, cards up his sleeve. And Memphis Depay is proving to be a, trump card, really. He unleashes him on tiring defenses.
Yeah.
And Aguilar was pegged back. The Lyon, who we saw attacking, couldn't make any difference.
Right.
And tactically, the Dutch triumphed.
Tactically, the Dutch won, but also Karim, yes, there has been a fair bit of negative feedback for Robben also. In fact, Robben has apologized in the press conference right afterwards for diving, because it was the third dive which got him the penalty. Well, the referee gave him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the referee is right. There's no questions about that. But the first dive, the second dive, what was he doing there? Such a world-class player, he should not be doing that.
Well, I think there are players, especially those technical players who are very nippy, very fast, and quite skillful. It's on their DNA. You cannot change Robben's style. He will keep doing this. In my opinion, definitely Robben could be better respected if without diving. But also the responsibility of those dives that we discussed is the referee's responsibility to spot on. He have a linesman. He have to be close the ball to make sure that he doesn't get into those traps of giving penalties or free kick when it's a dive, and rather instead giving a yellow card. Saying that, I think overall, sometimes the game have to be, remember we are talking about the extra time, 30 minutes, players are tired. I don't think at that moment Robben will be thinking whether he should dive or not. At that moment in their mind, with the fatigue, they just want the match to win, and they win the match.
Yes, but interestingly, the first two dives were within the first 90 minutes, so that's why the questions on Robben. But the problem which also one seems to have spotted, at least with the Dutch defense, Novi, is that the defenders, they concentrate on very tight man-to-man marking. But we also saw a very clever pattern which was used by Mexico. Santos and Peralta, they were running deep inside without the ball, drawing the markers, and as a result, they were creating space for the midfielders to move through. Now, this seems to be something which I'm sure whoever takes on the Dutch later must have noticed.
Yes, they probably do have. It's a new look Dutch defense.
Yeah.
And as long as Peralta and Giovanni Dos Santos were on the field, they were troubling the back four. And also Louis van Gaal, as this, he's constantly changing.
Right.
Yesterday we saw Peter Verhaeghe play. He's constantly changing the back four.
Right.
I think only Vlaar and Stefan de Vrij have really cemented their places
Right.
in the back four.
Right.
So that is one area which could be an area of concern for the Dutch. You know, how does this youthful back four cope in the much tougher matches ahead?
Right, and that's as far as the Dutch are, as we are going to discuss on this show right away. Now, there are other teams which also make history at the World Cup. A 10-man Costa Rica making history last night as they booked their place in the quarterfinals of the World Cup for the first time in their footballing history after beating Greece on penalties in the early hours this morning. And the Ticos stepped out with a stride in their step as winners of the group of death, but they were thwarted early on by the solid Greek outfit in a dour first half. The deadlock was finally broken in the second half. Costa Rica skipper Brian Ruiz slotting home to give his side the lead in the 52nd minute. And it looked like it would be enough to take them through, but Greece kept their tournament record of equalizing late with a very, very late equalizer. In fact, it was in the 91st minute. Socrates on hand to finish from close range in stoppage time. Extra time could not separate the teams, and even penalties didn't seem to make the difference as the first 7 spot kicks were converted. But the goalkeeper, Kilo Navas, produced a sensational save to deny Theophanis Gekas, putting his side firmly in the driver's seat. And Michael Umana made no mistake with the decisive penalty to take Costa Rica through to the quarters for the first time in their history. What a time it would be for the Costa Ricans. Let's quickly take you through the statistics of the game as it was played out. Look at this. Greece enjoying far more possession, 60% nearly of the possession compared to 43%. And what surprises one is that, this is one which we'll talk to Karim, of course, is that 24 shots the Greeks took. Out of that, 13 were on target, yet all they managed was just 1 goal. 11 corners also. The fact that they did use the wings. The Costa Ricans, on the other hand, a very surprisingly subdued performance from whatever we've seen before in the group of death. 6 shot with just 2 on target, 3 corners. A little rough game, 6 bookings plus the 1 red card. Obviously, it's a great day for Costa Rica because they managed to hold on with 10 men and obviously win this game. But Karim, 24 shots, 13 on goal. And we were also talking about the fact that, yes, this was the most dogged defense. They never attack. They'll park their own bus. But the Greeks went at Costa Rica right from the word go in the second half. They wanted to win this game.
Yeah, you rightly mentioned from the second half, because the first half was a quite close affair and both teams seems to be happy just defending. Second half, the Greek took a positive initiative. But I think the key moment was when the Costa Rican player was sent off, and Costa Rica played with 10 men, so they seems only defending, which gave the opportunity for Greece for maybe one of the rare times to take a control of a game. And I think the fact that they are not maybe used to that, because most of the time they are on the defensive,
right.
That didn't help them when they got that opportunity. They didn't help them to convert this domination into goals.
Right.
Second thing is, let's not forget that Greece doesn't have world-class players, especially on the final third. There is much less creativity.
Right.
There is hard-working guys, physically very strong. They go to the challenges. They can shoot from anywhere. But when talking about the quality and world-class strikers who are finishers, known to be finishers, that creativity was lacking, lacking from the Costa Rican team.
Yeah, but Nomi,
the Greece,
for the Greeks, yeah.
team.
But surprisingly, Costa Rica first 70 minutes still they had one of their players sent off. Bolaños, Gamboa, Ruiz, Campbell. We've seen this is a very, very fast, athletic, attacking side, never afraid to take the challenge back to the other team. But this was a surprisingly muted show. Was it because of the fact that they were aware this was their huge chance to make it to the quarterfinal for the first time? Was that the reason they played so carefully?
I think tension did tell. You see, this is the first match in Costa Rica started as favourites. The other 3 against former World Cup champions, it was, let's just go there and, put on a show. I mean, they were just expected to keep the margin of the loss down. But for me, the turning point in this match was again two of the best goalkeepers we saw last night, Okwa and Keylor Navas. In the first half, when Salpingkaidis had to just slide it home from the edge of the 6-yard box.
Right.
He saved it with an extended foot. You know, that was a really and a very important turning point. The Greeks were throttling them. If they'd gone ahead then, it would have been very difficult to break them down.
Right.
Okwa, we saw, did make one of the great saves of Stefan de Vrij. Well, fortune didn't favour him. So we've seen some miraculous saves by lesser-known goalkeepers.
Lesser-known goalkeepers. Karim, is this the tournament of not only substitutes but also goalkeepers, which not many have heard about before? You have seen Okwa and, of course, Keylor Navas. It would have not even gone to the penalties had he not saved them.
Yeah, he had a solid performance, Navas, and single-handedly sometimes stopped the Greek, even when they beat the defenders. He was there to save, and let's not forget the save of the key penalty of Džekas. Another thing I want to add for the Costa Rican team is for me they was a little bit naive at many moments of the game. You know, they received 5 cards. They received 5 cards in this game, which can affect them against the Dutch. We don't know yet the situation, who is suspended. But for me, there was naive. There was challenges where they should not have made. Even the challenge of the red card was not necessary. And I'm just afraid that they get so excited and they stop at the next level, because when this is a history time, and maybe Costa Rica will not be in this situation for many years to come, and they will look back to this time and saying we missed the chance even to go till the final. I think the coach, the management should make sure that the players, they don't go overexcited, because they have the possibility, the talent to go far, even why not till the semi-final and final. Though they are facing one of the favorites, one of the strongest teams, the Dutch team. So they should control their emotions and celebrate only when it's already over.
Well said. Who would have actually thought that this is the way it's going to come out? Let's quickly take a look at how exactly the tournament stands as of now after last night. Now, the first round of 16 game was between Netherlands and Mexico, which of course Netherlands won with 2 goals in the last 6 minutes. And the next one was Costa Rica and Greece. Just remember, Costa Rica pulling off a magnificent win with their fantastic goalkeeper on penalties. So Costa Rica now meets the Netherlands, and who would have actually thought that this is the team, is the only team rather, which will actually survive from the group of death into the quarter-final stage. Yes, that's right, Costa Rica, living a dream, as Karim says. Maybe this is the time to take it to the next level. But will they be good enough for the power of Louis van Gaal's tactics and this fantastic Dutch team spearheaded by Arjen Robben and Robin van Persie? That is something which we will look forward to in the days to come, looking ahead to the quarterfinals. Time right now to look ahead to our first break here on the show. When we come back, we'll talk about the first of the big games tonight. It's the French Masters who take on Nigeria. Now, after a dominating display in the group stages, France are ready to tell the world that they intend to take a serious shot at a second World Cup title as they take on Nigeria in the round of 16 game in Brasilia tonight. Didier Deschamps is expected to recall a number of his key players who had been rested in the final group game. Now, Mathieu Valbuena's return will surely strengthen the powerful midfield that has been a standout of Deschamps' plans of world dominance. The Nigerians, on the other hand, with their row overpayment sorted, will now be in a better frame of mind for the game. CSK striker Ahmed Musa, who terrorized the Argentine defense and scored twice, has in fact been singled out by Deschamps as the players who needs to be marked very well. With kickoff slated for 1 p.m. local time in searing hot conditions, the team that manages to stay fresher will have the edge in this battle.
Before the competition, we were never labelled as one of the favourites. We've achieved some great things in the group phase, but we're entering a new tournament. It's really about the cup now. Every game can be the last, so you need a lot of efforts, energy and a lot of concentration. You need to be ready for everything.
It's going to be a very spectacular game. It's going to be a very important game for both sides. I think details might decide the game. So we have to be very, very cautious and concentrate on every details and make sure we do what we have to do to win the game tomorrow.
Well, the money is surely in the bank, if not at the locker for the Nigerian players. Karim, if I could come to you on this one first. The French football team, obviously they have found the faith of the public back. They've got the faith back. The public loves this French team. They're doing well. They're now expected to take it to the next level. What are you expecting tonight? Because this is going to be a difficult match.
Well, you are right, because nobody cares in the previous years because of the many events that happened. But most importantly, the French team regained the respect back of the public, of their nation, and of course they are definitely looking forward to make it the next step. They have the capability to do that. And it's only one game now. There is no calculation, nothing.
Right.
There is few question how Deschamps will approach this game, especially up front, whether he will go with Griezmann or with somebody physical like Giroud. At the position also of Benzema.
Who would you go with?
I think as a start, you rather need somebody physical who can, because Nigerian defense is about physicality also, and sometimes you'll not be always allowed to play the ground game that you need. Sometimes you need somebody to fight on the crosses.
Right.
Maybe Giroud, Benzema, and Valbuena will be a good choice. The return of Kabay after he was rested the last match will be very key. We noticed that in the last game. So they will be a fresh team, and I'm sure they will be looking forward to advance on this round, which will not be easy. Remember, Nigeria is quite a strong opponent as well, especially now that they are paid.
They are paid, you rightly said, Karim. Novi, on the other hand, Nigeria, yes, it's surely not going to be a walkover for France, but the one player we need to talk about a little at this point of time, as Didier Deschamps has already said, is this is the man we need to keep a check on, is Ahmed Musa. He destroyed one of the best right backs in the Premier League, that's Pablo Zabaleta. We've seen that, and he also has the rare ability to come in from the left, create a lot of space and burst through at terrific speed. Very good anticipation, very good at taking shots inside the box, even outside the box. He will be a terror for the French.
Yes, Ahmed Musa, one more of the new sensations who have emerged in this World Cup, which is sort of very refreshing. But he'll be up against a much more tactical French team. We could have Sissoko playing as a defensive midfielder, and also Debuchy, who's had a very good game as right back. So I think the French defense is much more organized. Rafael Varane, it's not going to be as fragile as the Argentine defense, but he's a key man, as well as Peter Odemwingie. We shouldn't underestimate him also, and they have a lot of thrust up front, the Nigerian defense. So yes, France has to be on their toes, but I definitely would give advantage to France. But both teams play at scorching pace. The heat will be a deterrent. The team which adapts well and earlier would do better.
Karim, quickly to close this one, yes, Nigeria will be a formidable test for the French, but in Benzema and Giroud, just in case if they play them alongside, as you just mentioned, they have two very, very good options. Benzema is in the form of his life, he's technically fantastic, he's also very mobile. Giroud, on the other hand, as you say, has that physical presence, is very good on the air, also holds the ball for long as he wants to. That could be a problem, a little bit of a problem for the Nigerian defense.
It will be a big problem for a big test for the Nigerian defense, because they are very, the French team showed that they play that 4-3-3, but they have also the support of the two attacking midfielder from the center, and also Evra and Debuchy give them that necessary width on the final third. So Giroud and Benzema will be basically, it's another opportunity to prove that they are world-class strikers, both of them. Benzema can play central, can play on the flank of Giroud, but Giroud will add also something that I forget to mention, is during set pieces, corners and free kicks, he will be very handy to help them on these kind of situations. So it's a very good attacking line of the French team.
Very good attacking line, and definitely the World Cup would love to see a lot more of this French team. But who knows what the Nigerians have planned for them. Well, that obviously leads us to the matches tonight. Let's quickly take you through those games. Of course, France and Nigeria, the first one, which is coming up tonight at 9:30 Indian Standard Time. France versus Nigeria, which will be followed by one of the most interesting games which we're going to talk about after the break. Germany versus Algeria. And I can surely say that, at least while we don't know of Novi's favourites for these two games yet, at least France, Nigeria, Germany, Algeria, I can surely tell you which are the two teams Karim and Sharifa will be supporting tonight. That and much more coming up right after the break. So it is the traditional powerhouse, the World Cup power favourites, Germany, that take on the African minnows, Algeria, in Porto Alegre in the second game tonight. They're making their first ever appearance in the knockout stages in their fourth World Cup tournament. African minnows, Algeria, will hope to miraculously avenge the disgrace of Gijón from the 1982 World Cup when they meet Germany for a spot in the quarterfinals. Now, Germans, who've never won against Algeria, though, will look to stamp their class early on an Algerian side who will rely heavily on their ability to soak up the pressure and then make a difference with a pacey counter-attack. Joachim Low, though, will be without the services of Lukas Podolski. All right, Karim, every coach wants a problem of plenty, that he has 2 or 3 great players for the vying for the same spot. But this is a problem which could actually turn into a spot of bother for Joachim Low. He started with Sami Khedira. Sami Khedira, out-and-out box-to-box player, brilliant player. But the moment he got Schweinsteiger, because obviously he's resting one for the other because both of them are not fully fit, Schweinsteiger gave a very different but reassured, calming performance against the USA. Now he has a problem of plenty. Who would he start with?
Well, I think he will continue with the same, with the Schweinsteiger. Personally, I would like to see a midfield by Khedira, Schweinsteiger and Toni Kroos, who we know they are natural midfielders. They are excellent midfielders in the world.
Right.
But now Lam being the captain, for some reason he want to use him on the wing backs.
Right.
He's being used there. Kroos is a player that you cannot drop because of the work that he do, and especially he give a lot of support to the attacking.
Right.
So it's between Khedira and Schweinsteiger. I will think that he will, especially also based on the performance against USA, he will go with Schweinsteiger. The same thing, that 4-3-3. Those are the 3 midfielders that I think he will count on. But just answering your question, whether Khedira or Schweinsteiger, it's still a formidable midfield.
Yeah,
you know,
it's still a formidable
just
midfield.
Good headache.
Yes, but they are speaking in different languages, at least to the media. Schweinsteiger does not speak to the media, but Khedira seems to have taken a dig at Schweinsteiger's performance. That's what we are reading about. But Germany, yes, this team has been evolving over the years, Novi. And the more we see this this German games, it seems that yes, it is not yet complete, but they seem to be one of the best sides. And the new dimension which they've added to their game is their slick passing game. This time, stats tell us they've made at least 1,800 passes in the group stages only, which is far more than any other team. This is also a very different German team from the classical German teams we have seen of old.
Certainly, there's much more attacking flair and lots of players who have that creativity. And it's not only just retaining possession, they keep going forward also.
Right.
And more important, the variety of goal scorers.
Right.
You know, it's not over-dependent on a couple of people. And for me, I think this is a match where Miroslav Klose, with Podolski not there, could break the world record.
Right.
Hopefully, the shame of Gijón and the lessons of history are forgotten and we have a good football match. But that will probably play a part and motivate the Algerians a lot.
Yes, but the Germans should not underestimate the Algerians. Interestingly, Karim, the names you will be much more familiar with than both of us. Lakhdar Belloumi, the African Footballer of the Year, who played in the '82 World Cup against Germany. He has said, and it's being reported, that we must take revenge over the Germans. We must have the spirit of revenge going into this game. Obviously, it will act as more than just a bit of motivation for these Algerian players.
Well, you see, the Algeria being the outsider, being the underdog, they will look at everything to motivate these players, to get the best out of them, because they are playing one of the, maybe the strongest, consistent team in this, and at this round.
Right.
Definitely they will be using that moment of 82 with that strong quality team that was there with Lakhdar Baloumi, Majjer, and go on. But it may have worked, you know, the mind game. This is also a mind game. It could work against any team, but not Germany. Germany is very, you know, as their coach, when he was asked about those events of 82, he played it down, saying that these players was not even born when these things happen, so they will not bother about that.
Right.
And the Germans are very, you know, they know the job have to be done. They are focused on the target.
Right.
They will not be distracted with this kind of talk that is going on.
Right, we'll have much more to discuss about this. Surely a game with a lot of historical baggage, at least it seems, both for Algeria and Germany, later on in the evening tonight on CNN IBN. It's time for our final break, though, right at this moment. When we come back, we'll tell you how you can join in here on the conversation with both Karim and Novi on the beautiful game. So stay up there. Welcome back to the beautiful game. Time now to bring you into the conversation. You can tweet us at IBN Live with the hashtag World Cup. First tweet, the Lorticos, I'm so proud of them. This is what the World Cup is all about, says Khalish. The next one, coming from Blackish, says Costa Rica versus Greece proved to be more of a friendly match than a World Cup knockout till the 90th. In fact, it will be the 91st minute, Blackish. Now, Anibut says, another Greek tragedy, Zekas will be remembered as the hero of this great saga. I believe you wanted to say tragic hero. For me, so far, it was the best match, hashtag World Cup. And the other one saying, coming from Kichu My Name, saying, a penalty shootout is not a lottery, it is a test of skill and nerve. It still is a very cruel way to exit a World Cup. Of course, it is. And let's see who's our tweet of the day. The Football Link says, gone in 6 minutes. Now, this can be the name of a movie. A newly released movie by the Dutch, made in Brazil for the Mexicans. Gone in 6 minutes from the Football Link. Well, remember, all you guys got to do is tweet to us at IBN Live and with the hashtag World Cup with all your questions with our two gentlemen here, Novi Kapadia and Karim Ben Sharifa, who will be more than happy and eager to answer all your tweets. Remember, Karim and Novi will be back tonight at 7:30 when we yet again look ahead in much more seriousness at the France versus Nigeria game. Till then, thanks for watching. Goodbye.